Uh, my name is Impaji.
Hi, okay. I'm Mandisa with Black Nonbelievers.
And I'm Treg Turner, also with Black Nonbelievers.
Okay.
We have met here for a brief talking about issues that affect us as black people in the US, but we want to focus mostly on what I call the silent conflict between African Americans and Africans. What I mean here is before I came to the United States from Uganda, I used to think that me and all the black people are the same. And I live in a city which is having very less people. So every time I say black person, I feel it like I wanted to run and hug that person because sometimes I feel it like I've spent a week not seeing a single black person. And you are in a position where you think that is this black person is from Africa, is he from here? And also being the United States, it's a very huge country. You also want to know if they were born indeed in Oregon or they are from any other state. So as I tried to crave for belonging to the black people, to feel accepted to the black people, the more I craved for it, the more I found that actually the people I was craving to love don't actually love me back, don't welcome me into their spaces. And especially this happened when they started acknowledging my accent. And they started, as you speak as if you are not from here, where are you from? And the moment these people know that you are not African American, that's why I detest that word. I don't want to use it. But for the purpose of this conversation, I will accept to include African Americans. But to me, I feel we should abandon that word and have one identity as black people. Anyway, the more I craved for answers, why don't African Americans welcome me in their spaces? I later learned that there is a silent conflict between Africans and African Americans, and I started asking what could be the driving force of this conflict, and I couldn't have an answer. So, as I craved for that, I met this beautiful African American woman, and I wanted to date her. And we started talking and talking and talking, but once in a while her rage would come up, and it caught you in a surprise, and you ask, what's the problem? So when we figured out that the relationship is not going to work, we cannot date because of those funny emotions that were coming up, I gathered the energy to ask my friend that, what's the problem between African Americans and Africans? And this lady initially didn't want to answer me, but eventually when I pressed on and over, she said, look, this is the problem. And I said, what's the problem? She said, you Africans, you've been coming here and treat us like second-class citizens. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I don't hold any political office in the United States. I'm not a CEO of any company. I'm not an employer. And I'm doing low jobs in the US. I'm doing jobs that other people wouldn't do. So what do you mean that we treat you like second-class citizens? And I also reminded her that the two incidences that happened in California, where a policeman shot a black man in the park, the black man was holding his hands up. That man was actually from Uganda. Yeah, and I've lost my job twice here in the US simply because of my color. The problems affecting you are the same problems affecting me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why would you think that I treat you like a second-class citizen? And then she said, you know what? Until when Trump was elected to the presidency, Africans didn't know their position in the United States. Now you know. And I tell you the truth, that statement ended my friendship
Right.
with,
Yeah.
with this woman.
I
And
think that, you know, in our community, and I felt what you were saying when you said you saw another black person, you know, and you wanted to go up to them and say, hey, you know, hey, I'm here too.
yeah,
You know, and they would be just as excited to see you. And so I felt you there because there's some similarities between what you go through and what even African Americans here, born here on this continent, go through. We can go to different parts of the country, and when we see another black person, we feel a whole lot more comfortable. We're like, oh my goodness, there's some other black people here. And, you know, and we hope for that camaraderie when we approach them or say hi, or hope they say hi to us. And so that's important. And when you say, well, we're not sure why that there's this, you know, kind of undercurrent of, you know, animosity between African Americans and Africans who have come to this country first generation, I don't know. There's so many different, you know, reasons why people treat other people differently. It could be
Yeah.
religion. It could be they've heard some things. You know, they've heard that, you know, Africans look down on African Americans as cotton pickers.